guys, welcome back to Momina's Mixplate Season 3, powered by Insignia Shoes. In the studio with me, I have a very dear friend of mine. Her name is Feeha Jamshed. She is a designer. We are going to be talking to her about, well, obviously the fashion world, but more than that, the reason why I have her on the show today is because her story is a story of hope. She saw her life in every way crumble to the ground and she rebuilt it up. The way this woman has done that is an inspiration to not just me, but when you hear the story, it'll be an inspiration to you as well. Before we get into it, you guys don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can be part of the Momina's Mixplate family. And let's welcome on Feeha Jamshed.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Can I call you Moms?
Yeah, you can call me Moms.
Amazing.
Yeah, because that's my nickname for the people who don't know me. My friends who like really love me call me Moms.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm really happy that like after print media, now they were sitting here.
And my first actually.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because I'm talking to my friend.
Okay, Fia. So before we get into the like our main crux of the conversation, I do want to talk fashion with you. Where do you think fashion in Pakistan is headed today, and where do you see your brand going?
Okay, how do I simplify this question? Where it's headed, I think it's headed towards consumerism. It has been for a while. I think it's more consumerism as opposed to even 10 years ago. It's what the fast fashion is all dictated by consumerism. We as a brand, my father's brand or my brand, we're not into that. We were never into that. Whether it was even retail. TJ's retail was never targeting fast fashion. It was always about quality-driven clothes, but making Pakistan stylish and fashionable and more like a brand name as opposed to, you know, ye shalwar kameez itne ka bik raha hai, and then the other brand is like fighting with you, their competitive price wars. That's where we are today, and that's not what fashion is supposed to be. And if you look at the West, fashion, yes, it's all like predominantly on the ramp, but when it comes to numbers, it's all merchandise. So where do we stand?
Yeah, of course, because I mean, retail right now is just kurtas.
Exactly.
That's all there is.
And I have no problem with kurtas, but kurtas, what kurtas?
Like, same. See, एक इधर आपकी sleeve आ रही है, सीधी box cut kurta आ रहा है, एक लंबी. I mean, like, we're not even taking into account that Pakistani women vary in sizes.
Absolutely.
And by size,
and South
I mean
Asian
height.
women.
You know, like I'm a very short girl, but I have long legs.
Yes.
So for me,
so your proportions,
my proportion means I need a shorter hemline, meaning I need to elongate my legs. It will make me look taller. But when I go into retail, it's the exact opposite because हर चीज इधर तक लंबी कमीज है घुटने तक
बिल्कुल
खुला है. It's not tailored into fitting for like very petite people or even plus size people. It's almost like a skeletal.
You know, you said something so appropriate. You said proportions, right?
Yeah.
Yahan pe, for example, if I say, oh, the trend is short kameez and gheej wali shalwar. Now, somebody who's a different size but tall, even then, the short kameez will not look good on them. So that whole point of educating the masses or educating even the elite today has become so important, because even the elite, or I wouldn't like to call them the elite, because for me, Pakistan's elite are the poets and the writers and stuff.
No, but that is the elite, right?
Now.
Because it's not just there's a difference between being wealthy and being elite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because elite comes from your art, from education, from your philosophy, to the way you live, to how you dress, how you eat, who you eat with, who you meet.
My father was lucky. He was designing and giving it to the elite because those are the people that people wanted to be. Like, for example, Faiz Ahmed Faiz wearing a shalwar kameez. Their followers were part of the masses. They wanted to look. So he was dressing the elite, the real meaning of the elite.
Yeah.
And it was translating into the masses. Now, because of consumerism, like I said before, and you said, we are designing for the 2%, and it's not translating to the 98. And I'm 98 bhi, chalo, 70 keh do. It's not. And it's such a big demarcation, which is what I'm seeing in fashion today. Because the real fashion designers are not dictating the trends here.
They're not.
And what you said, the kurta thing, abhi hai, it's the same box kurta, but phool patte different hone chahiye. Oh, that designer is giving me different phool patta, wo. I mean, I feel we're living in Darwin's theory in reverse. We're going towards being apes,
Yeah.
you know. And मैं ये बिल्कुल उससे कह रही हूँ with a lot of integrity इसके साथ कह रही हूँ, fashion dictates the street.
It does, and it must.
But yes, but your style dictates fashion. So where is everyone's style? It's gone. There's no style. Like, and my father's clothes, like my father's designer, you see one design would have a different pocket to the other, but it kind of unified it. You would be wearing a teacher's kurta, but you'd still be different to the other, you know.
100%. Like, I remember there's this photograph of my mother.
Yeah.
Okay. And like, it's back in the day in the 80s. Okay.
Oh.
I sent you
I
that
get-
photograph.
yes,
Right.
you
And
did.
she's at like a university, and she was like, I think she was,
It was
a
some-
chief guest for something.
I
Okay.
remember you.
And I think she was pregnant with me, or like now one of the two, because I was very young, or maybe not even born. And she was wearing this really lovely kurta, and like she's like, oh, that's TJ's. I'm like,
And did you notice no dupatta?
nothing. No, there was no
And
dupatta.
Zia's era.
Yeah.
No dupatta, because my
She had
father's
those
like,
structured
my
sleeve.
father's like, what's the point of having a dupatta when it's right around your neck? It just makes the whole silhouette look bad. So make a woman dress modest but stylish.
Yeah.
So she can walk on the street without having to feel something or the other's not put together. Yeah, kuch dikh raha now. That is gone away. And that's what I feel fashion today is, unfortunately. I am lucky enough to be having some, like, teachers to teachers hair, but even my philosophy in fashion, even it's more feminine towards as opposed to teachers, but it has the same philosophy.
Yeah.
I rather do quality driven clothes than fast fashion.
No, amazing. But you don't do shoots though. And there's
No,
I mean,
not
like,
now. I
yeah.
don't, not anymore.
Yeah.
And why? Because it has a lot to do with the personal matter. My sister had anorexia, and I see a lot of advent of anorexia coming in today in fashion, because the whole point of being skinny. अच्छा, जब मैं रैम्स करती थी, मैंने jumpsuit पहली दफ़ा जब पाकिस्तान में introduce कराया, तो everyone started saying, but this is not for us, you know, this is for a model size. I had to literally convince people to come to the store when I was designing for TJs, to come to the store. You hate it, at least try it, at least see it. You wouldn't buy it, it's okay. My thing is, I want to change your whole mental block towards ये मुझ पे अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. If I'm a certain size, maybe a lot of people say I'm skinny. एक तो I hate that word skinny, but on the thinner side, मुझ पे भी हर चीज अच्छा नहीं
मेरे पे भी नहीं
लगता.
लगती है. There's a lot of
नहीं लग
things
सकता.
that, like, I mean, you need for some outfits and for certain styles, you need a longer torso, you need a broader
Absolutely.
shoulders. There are a lot of things I cannot wear and I
Bilkul.
don't wear.
Yeah.
But then, wo awareness is that I know my body. I have
And
to
that is
understand
what
it.
everyone's lacking today.
Yeah.
So my whole point of shoots is if I make a tall, or let's say any sort of model, I know there are plus sizes models too, but it's again a philosophy. आपका एक mental block आ जाता है. To challenge that, I rather have real people wearing me and then in their own setting where they're more comfortable rather than being on the camera, in front of the camera, where you're at a friend's gathering and you're wearing me and everyone's like, because you'll carry me or my other brand better in a more comfortable setting. That would actually have 10 people come to me as opposed to a flip through. We suffer from ADD today.
We do.
So it came from the whole point of anorexia, where I didn't want, and I'm not against people using models. It doesn't work for my brand anymore.
But you, to me, you are an inspiration to me. And like when I remember that when you were really unwell, I spoke to you on the phone. I think we had about a 3-hour-long conversation.
Yeah.
And I was weeping and you were weeping.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually the first time we really
Opened up.
And bonded. But you've never spoken about your illness and what happened to you and how your world came, well, crashing down all around you in every manner. Would you mind, like,
No, of course.
opening up about that? Like,
course not.
what was that time like, and what?
It was, I mean, if I look back, and it's very clear in my mind what happened, because I remember I used to journal a lot. I was on the wheelchair for about 8 months. I was told that I may not walk again. I developed this autoimmune disease that actually started hitting and targeting the bones and joints of my body. And it started actually, I had trigeminal neuralgia. It's like this excruciating pain. You don't know where it's coming from. And any MRI, any test would just show it to be normal. Now, I had lost my sister about 2, 3 years before that. And it was just a case of, oh, this could be psychosomatic. Sure, it might have started as being psychosomatic, but this is a physical pain now I'm going through. To cut the long story short, that pain turned into something physical. Physical became me limping. Limping became me falling, and I couldn't walk. Now, I had a brand, and I was married by then, and I had me, and I forgot me, and everything came first. Now, when everything came first, the doctor just told me, he's like, yeah, you can go on, but till when? You lose a leg today, you lose your eye tomorrow. Where's your brand? Where's anything going to be if you're not there? And for me, it's difficult because I've never chosen myself over anything, whether it was family, whether it was work or anything. And that was the hardest thing I could have done, was to choose myself over my brand, even my marriage, to a point where I had to scale back on going socially out. But I started writing a lot. And I remember writing this on my journal. I said, okay, I was talking to God a lot. So I just looked at him. I looked at the sky and said, okay, I'm supposed to fall, right? Okay, let's see how far you're going to make me fall. There'll be one day that there'll be ground that I'll have to fall on. That day, I'll stand on my feet and go up. Whether it's an hour a day, the next month will be 2 days a month. Maybe the third year it'll be a week. But I promise myself I'll fall, because I was also trying to force myself not to fall. And that actually was more painful, because the falling taught me. And they say failure is like a friend, and it truly is. So it was literally, I think God was preparing me. There's a pandemic coming, so what I'm teaching you today might come in handy, and it did. I was like, oh, I'm not bored.
Yeah.
I've been through this of spending time with myself. So I got to know myself better.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Do you remember that moment for you when you were like, I'm on my way to recovery now. This is, जैसे कहते हैं ना, मोड़ा पड़ता है.
हाँ.
Do you remember that moment? For you, what was that?
It was after I went through something personal. It was when I was actually going through couples therapy with my husband, and we were. I decided then that it was not going to work, and health to aa rahi thi wapas. Business bhi, I was starting to do it underground. I didn't want to announce it to people. I wanted to get my homework done. But literally, I think that was the last nail to hit, where I had to literally, because there was some scrambling, of course. I think that was it, when I was being tested through my marriage, and we were going through a divorce. And I remember everyone around me said, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. There was something in me that said, no, you gotta do this. And that literally was the turning point in my life, where, again, when I said na control, वो last control रह गया था. That I had to literally, पहले तो it was health. अच्छा, health जा रही है. Business भी चला गया. Marriage, I'm gonna make this work, because come on. And that was, and I can't thank that life or my married life enough, because it was the biggest lesson. I actually believe that taught me, made me accept Minal's death, my illness, my business going, and marriage. Because that was the last lesson I had to learn, that you're still controlling, you're not giving me control. Yeah.
And that's why, to me, your story is the story of hope, because there's, on one hand, it's like, oh my God, she went through so much. But then on the other hand, it's also that everything is so temporary. the highs and the lows.
Yes.
No matter how low it goes, it is going to bounce back up. And no matter how high it goes, it's got to come back down. You know, it's like a wave, and it's the wave's going to keep going.
You know, something that my father always taught me, and I use it in my personal life too. Treat failure as a friend, because that's going to teach you how to treat your highs.
120%.
Yes. And
120%. I think you've been with me in like my small pockets of like strife and all of that.
And that's where I think we connected the most. We really...
And you would say to me, tawakkal rakho. Sab sahi ho jayega.
Yeah.
You know?
Tawakkal.
And I remember then our conversations on Sufism and our conversations on, I guess, everything. And I like, you know, like यहाँ पे लोगों को होता है कि अगर आपने सर पे दुपट्टा नहीं पहना हुआ और आपने अगर स्कर्ट पहनी हुई है तो आपको खुदा का क्या पता.
बिल्कुल.
आपको क्या पता कि ऊपर क्या है. वो तो सिर्फ मौलवियों के लिए और हिजाबियों के लिए है ना. वो हम लोगों के लिए तो नहीं है.
Was a Sufi. May Allah bless him. And he used to, I remember I was going towards, it was a prom night. I think I was in 10th or 11th grade, one of the two. So us waqt, even wearing pants in front of your nana used to be like, cover your behind or chadar pen lo. So my mother got like, oh no, nana ke saam. So, and my nana heard her say that, but he didn't say anything. I was crossing. He's like, you know, come here, show me what you're wearing. So I showed. I was kind of like, you know, because me and my nana had a very beautiful relationship. So I also was a little like, why am I hiding it from him? He took it off, the shawl, and he looked at my mother. He's like, Musalman dil se hota hai, uski zahiri se nahi. So you could be, you could...
ये हम भूल गए हैं.
बिल्कुल. तो जाहिर पे आप, you know, वो कहते हैं ना कि always check on those people who seem to be the strongest, because they might be fighting the biggest battles. So it's, everything has become so superficial and zahiri. We've taken ourselves out of that whole mix of, then that internal world that we have, and this internal universe that we exist in ourselves.
Of course.
That is so important, because at the end of the day, why tawakkul is so important in my life, because at the end of the day, God's like, you take care of you. I am taking care of you. But you need to take that step towards me, and I will take 10 steps back.
Before we go, in one sentence, like, you know, because like you went through something so major in life, and that one thing that, you know, there's so many people out there who are struggling. What's that one thing you would say? Just one sentence.
What I would say to anybody is always accept the struggles that are coming your way. A lot of people will say that this time shall pass, this too shall pass. It does pass, but you should be honest with what you're going through. It's tough, and nothing is easy in this world, but all the good things, all the simple things are obtained through hard work, through struggle. And you can't find God if you don't go out looking for him. So you can't find anything, or you can't struggle. I mean, if you want to strike gold, you have to struggle. And that struggle comes with a price. And that price is rewarded. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it'll just make you a very... I don't like the word strong, because I think it's misused, but a very whole person. It'll make you a human again. I think we need to humanize ourselves rather than being all macho and everything. And I'm not saying macho in the sense it's okay to struggle, because
acknowledge that you're struggling, and it's okay.
Absolutely.
And it's okay.
And it's okay. And why is it okay? Because the sun sets every day in order to rise again. So अंधेरों के बाद उजाला तो होता है. It's as simple as that. Nothing's absolute. So you will have your days too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was actually, like, you know, it was very special.
Like I said, wholesome. So
thank you
for having me.
Thank you so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed this segment. Please, if you're going through anything, please know that everything, har cheez aajzi hai. Like, if someone is shining today, they might not be tomorrow. And if you're not shining today, you will be tomorrow. So remember that where there's dark, there's always light, and just choose to see light. Before I get going, you guys don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can be part of the Momina's Mixed Plate family, and I'll see you next time. Take care.